Hello, it's DarkDoorstep with you again. I had an idea, and this one relates to 3D printing. I don't know how many of you out there 3D print, but sometimes when I 3D print, I get just a slight curling on the edge of my print jobs where it contacts the print bed. And as a result, they don't quite sit level, and when you're gluing pieces together and you get this slight curling deformation, you can't. It's a pain in the butt to glue the pieces together, because then you glue them together, and then you got to fill and you got to sand. And as many of you know, I hate sanding. So the less fill and the less sanding I have to do, the better. So I had this idea. The idea is to, after the fact, reheat the bottom and try to level it out. Now, I've tested this earlier and it seemed to work pretty well, so I'm going to try again for the purpose of this video. Handy dandy heat gun. And what I'm using is the ceramic cooktop of my electric stove, because it's already heat resistant. Not heating up, not turning on the stove. Very important, not turning on the stove. It'll get far too hot, far too quickly, and you just end up with a big, huge mess. So, here's what I'm doing. Set my heat gun on the low setting, and I'm just going to go over the bottom of this piece a few times here. And I'm going to set it down on my cooktop. The printer filament becomes very soft at about 200 degrees, which really isn't very hot when you think about it. And a heat gun gets much, much hotter than that. Got a few areas that are still a little off level. Also, be very careful not to burn your hand when you're doing this. Actually, I should probably be wearing a glove or a welding gauntlet or something like that. And the longer you heat it up, the softer it gets. The piece I tried earlier, I left the heat on it a little bit too long, and it kind of molded like putty in my hand, and which might actually be useful for another project for another time. Now, while I'm trying to smooth this out, I don't know anyone that has done this. I mean, I know I say that a lot, but I've never run across a YouTube video or or anything, or even just a tutorial webpage that even suggests this. There might be a reason for that. This might be an incredibly bad idea, but for the moment, it seems to be working. You know, before when we saw it, this piece rocked with just a little bit of pressure. Well, I lifted it off there, but it's still got a little bit of rock to it. Let's see if we can smooth that out. Okay, I think I have a piece where it's sufficiently deformed where you can actually see what's going on here. Okay. These pieces fit together. There's a huge gap where it curled up from the printing bed. So I want to try this technique and see what happens. Okay, I've been working with these pieces for about 5 minutes. We started out with what was a 4mm gap. You can see there. It's much smaller now. Let's measure the gap here. At its widest point, it's now 2mm. After working with this for 5 minutes, I've decreased the gap by 50%. I think if I work with it a little bit longer, I might be able to get that down to 1 or maybe even 0mm. That'd be great. That'd be perfect. When using this technique, you want to make sure that you don't hold the heat on any one location for too long. It will cause your model to deform in ways that you don't want it to. Doesn't take very much heat at all, doesn't take very much time at all. But anyway, that's all for now. I just thought I'd share this technique with you that just popped into my head last night. If you like this video, like. If you want to see more of what I do, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.